Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Present Company Included. This is Gleeman, Rhino Rocks, and I am TeddyGrizz. And today we are here to talk about the Stargate situation. The new show has been canceled, but we have a video by Disparu talking about it. Gleeman, I think you were the one that brought this video up as something that you wanted to discuss. Anything that we should know about it?
Yes, actually. For one, his name is Disparu.
I knew that was coming because I
Disparu?
heard Gleeman physically cringe.
What did I
I
say?
felt the disturbance in the force.
What?
Disparu.
Who can understand through his accent? Whatever.
That's
I
fair.
I genuinely never knew that. I've watched so many Disparu videos and never really clocked that I'd been saying his name wrong. That's so funny. All right. Rhino, you and I, we can team up to really, really mess with Gleeman's brain. We found this out now.
I am on my bullshit today. Let me tell you.
All
Oh,
right.
good grief.
I'm ready
Anyway,
for it.
that was number one. Number two, something to know about Stargate. It is one of the biggest sci-fi IPs out there, next to Star Wars and Star Trek. You have the three stars, as we say, um, and Stargate has three series under its belt. That would be Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe, also known as SGU. These three series have spanned over 15 years, across, oh gosh, I want to say 17 seasons, of
How many seasons?
interconnect.
How many
Hmm?
seasons of Stargate Universe were there?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a compact show. Like, is I hear seasons and I think of a typical show with like its run. They'll milk it until, it's basically bled out and they can't get any more blood from the stone. But only 2 seasons, that's probably a pretty tight, compact show. That might have some good quality in there.
It does.
Uh,
It lost a lot of viewership in season one because of how different it was from the original series,
Mhm.
but it gained a big upswing as far as favorability goes in season two. Just not enough for, I believe it was MGM at the time, to greenlight season three.
Okay.
I personally have watched all of SG1 multiple times. Absolutely love SG1. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like even at its worst, like its worst episodes are still kind of like a B minus when it comes to quality. Like it's really good show.
And most of those episodes are in season one, to be fair.
Yeah,
I I
yeah.
I
The
have
first season
pictures.
they kind of needed some time to get their feet, but that's pretty common.
Right.
Um, Atlantis, I believe I watched all of the Atlantis, but only through once through, and so I don't have a great memory when it comes to Atlantis.
And
The only
what
thing
were
I
you
know
going?
about Stargate is I have a picture in my head of what I imagine the show, and it's just Morpheus from the Matrix leaning on a staff like Gandalf. And I'm not even sure if that's Stargate, but that's the only thing I can think of when I think of it. I have no interaction with this show whatsoever.
I don't
I'm
think that's Stargate.
See,
well.
I can't even get that right.
I think he might be referring to.
Maybe the
Oh,
Ori?
no, 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 no. He said Morbius on a staff. That makes me think of. I think it was something around season six, maybe, when you had the Jaffa rebellion going on, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I suppose that could be. So, for those that aren't familiar, I guess a quick summary of the Stargate universe. I'm not going to get like delve into all of it, but the setting is a modern, it's actually a modern setting. It's a sci-fi show that is in a modern time. Um, the the pyramids were built by aliens. They were built to be uh, landing platforms for alien spacecraft. Um, the Stargate is a piece of ancient alien technology that is capable of creating a wormhole between worlds. So the modern U.S. military ends up figuring out how it works and is now able to send away missions of people to planets all across the galaxy. Um, in doing so, they encounter the Goa'uld, which are the primary aggressors at the beginning of the show, and they are an advanced alien race of parasites that take humans as hosts and control them from inside, as well as enslave millions or billions of others. I think
And
that it's
oh,
I find it particularly interesting because it is set in kind of modern time, and you get to see in real time as the show progresses how the introduction of like alien technology and the discoveries that they find out about the universe, how it affects human technology and how people are able to start incorporating it into what they're doing. And it also puts us in kind of the underdog position. We're not this isn't the Federation, which is like in Star Trek. This is
mhm.
we are a single planet who is an underdog going up against a interconnected uh,
Galactic
planet,
powers.
galactic powers that have their own politics that we are completely unaware of because we are just now kind of coming out of our lone little world. And
But we do go in it with the good old American spirit and say, we do what we want.
yeah, we do.
Can I speak to that for a second? As someone who was military, I see this get missed a lot, especially in sci-fi shows. I want you to think about what it would be like encountering Earth as a species that is not us. You find this world of people that breathe oxygen and are basically living fire breathers who develop new and interesting ways to kill each other to pass the time and are so good at it that we have to shake hands and have agreed upon rules about what's the right way and not right way to do it. Now imagine coming and kicking that bee in the nuts and having us turn our gaze towards you somewhere else in the stars. The innovation we would come up with as new ways to deliver new and interesting explosives to your doorstep would be ridiculous and wild to see. It would be the cause for us to have interstellar space travel solely so we can deliver bombs faster.
Rhino, you do not know how right you are.
I think you would really enjoy Stargate. Uh,
Oh, yes.
Uh, I am the one who hasn't seen it, for context. I may have seen clips, kind of, but I cannot tell the difference between Stargate and any other generic sci-fi show. That's not like one of the really big main ones. So that's my entire context right there. I just
Us
don't know.
use all I'm thinking is like when Rhino was talking, I was like, all I'm thinking about is us using Asgard beam technology to beam board Knack with the bombs.
huh. New fancy ways to make even more powerful nukes.
We
Yes.
would blow up bombs behind our
Alien tech,
bombs to send them through space faster.
alien technology to teleport them directly into the room you want them to be in.
Yep.
Oh, look,
Yep.
let's save that for my dreams come true later. All right, I got to see it in action.
So
But
if you're
yeah,
unaware, in the image on the screen right now, the guy in the bottom left, where it says "Dial the Gate," behind him, there's a couple of little pops figurines. I think that's what they're called.
yes,
Those are pops, right? I
yeah.
don't know. I don't collect those things. Um, they are standing on the,
The
a
Stargate
yeah,
platform.
the
The
platform
Stargate,
of the Stargate. Yeah, of Stargate.
Yeah.
which
And
it's known.
also,
It's a big ring with a what looks like water in the middle, but it's actually a wormhole.
I am also so jealous because he has a Naquita generator, and so does
Yes, he
he.
does.
Absolutely.
And
He
he has a
Yep.
does.
ZPM, and he has the Daedalus, he has Atlantis, he has Destiny. Uh,
I hadn't even
So
been looking
jealous.
at this stuff in the background of the other people.
he
I was
he really
literally just looking for a Stargate to give Rhino reference.
right.
I just like her everything is fine sign. You know?
Stargate here, and a Zat Nicotel. That's a Zat Nicotel.
Got to get him with the Zat. Rhino, a Zat Nicotel is
Mhm.
a alien weapon that is essentially like a stun gun on steroids. It like
Okay.
shoots electricity. If you shoot someone one time with it, they will fall over. They're essentially incapacitated. I don't
Yes.
think
Okay.
that ever failed to incapacitate someone with a single shot. A second shot will kill a person, and a third shot will
We'll bring them
disintegrate the
back to
body.
life.
No, it will
No, no.
disintegrate them, but only in season one. They never returned to that.
Oh, is that right? Do they never return to that?
They
It
never utilize that ever again.
it makes it into a great stealth weapon, honestly, because like if
That's
you're
It
what it
trying to
does.
sounds
infiltrate,
that's what it sounds like.
Uh,
Because
well,
it puts me in mind of in uh World War One, yes, but also even as like early as the Revolutionary War, to infiltrate, Americans had used BB guns as lethal stealth weapons. I know that sounds very odd, but we actually have a really long history of using pellets as infiltration weapons. And that's what it kind of reminds me of. Just something that doesn't make noise. You go click, and then there's someone lying on the ground, and then you come up and you finish them.
that
Grid.
actually makes me think of something that I think it was Thor the Asgard says to Carter. Uh, the Asgard are another space or another species that are actually from a separate galaxy, not from our galaxy, that have a fight against a I don't even know if it's fair to call them a race, but I'll say a race called the replicators that are uh, they're literally just machines that replicate and eat more technology and incorporate the technology and eat more. Kind of like the Borg, I guess, but not like sentient. They're just like
Okay,
replicating
so it's just
machine
like
bugs.
programmed in. It's what we do.
Right.
Yes. It's
And
literally their programming just to replicate themselves.
No morality about it.
we need to
Exactly.
actually help the Asgard on several occasions to fight the replicators because we think stupider than they do. Our solutions are so dumb that the replicators don't recognize it as advanced technology and don't like try to integrate it. It's like the Asgard aren't
It,
capable of thinking in as stupid ideas as us as like
All fun
using
and games. They
gunpowder
slip through
to
the stick.
explode and cause shrapnel to go forward and
Mhm.
destroy things. So our weapons are actually more effective than the advanced alien species because we think dumb.
They're
yeah,
harder to predict.
the Asgard do not use projectile weaponry, and since we have not moved away from the use of projectile weaponry, it's an additional tool in our utility belt when it comes to solving problems.
Well, I
Plus, we
mean,
like to
again,
blow things up.
One that
when you
they
think
that
about
the
that,
Asgard are incapable of thinking of that solution due to them being like due to
Far
it
more
being such
advanced.
a low tech solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think of it this way. if you're an alien race and you encounter these quote unquote monkeys that have, developed speech and are getting advanced, and you're like, look at us, we have this laser and this shielding, and you're like, that's awesome. That's really cool stuff. Take a look at this. It's belt fed. And we call this 45 ACP. Like, they're not going to know what to do with that. Like, it sounds like a joke, but imagine a species so advanced that they have like a laser that can go directly through a tank with one big pew. But then you show them, like, cool, we can sling metal at 800 rounds a second and clear a field.
And
You're going to
it's
melt their brains.
Again, it's funny you should mention that because the very episode that I was talking about with the Rebel Jaffa, that was the demonstration that they were making a point of is the staff weapons are these nice big laser blasts, and uh, the guy takes out, well, it doesn't take out, but he hits the target, and then one of the military personnel takes their P90 and just
Mhm.
completely obliterates the log
It's one of those
with.
things where complication doesn't meet effectiveness. Like, if we were to, for whatever reason, like, say we launched into space right now to go to a planet out there, the people that came after us would arrive first because we would be doing it in such a simple and effective way that for us it would be amazing, but everything that comes after is going to blow the doors off us before we can even have a chance to attempt to reach that point. We would arrive later than the people that left after us, and it's the same thing with weaponry. But that's only good to a point because eventually you will overcomplicate it so much that a stick is still a good weapon. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with a good old fashioned pointy stick, and people forget that.
You've
You
been
got to go back
watching
to the basics.
Shadiversity, haven't you?
I haven't seen Shadiversity in quite some time.
Have you watched his stick video?
Maybe if it's one of the older ones, I've very likely seen it.
It's about a year or two old.
Yeah, so
He
I've
talks
probably
the
seen
he talks about the mighty stick.
it. Nothing wrong with a good old fashioned stick. You can whomp people, you can stab people, sharpen the edges, you can make pikes.
Mm-hmm.
Very versatile.
I
Okay, let's
agree.
actually start this video, please. 'Cause I will
But
eat up all the time.
we're talking about weapons now, and it makes me think of how often weapons are used in Stargate as like diplomatic tools. Like
That is, you're
in
not
the
wrong. That is a way to use a weapon. As crazy as it sounds, that's your own point with that, Teddy.
in that episode that Gleeman was talking about, he was trying to prove that the weapons that we have are real weapons. Like I think the phrasing was when referring to the staff weapon that they were wanting was that this is a weapon of fear, and when referring to the P90, this is a weapon of war. Uh,
Yes.
and so we were so like in Stargate they supply these people with weapons for their rebel uprising, but that also in ways puts a dependence on us to continue supplying them with ammunition and stuff because they don't have access to that ammo.
Repair parts. And
Similarly, in
the
the first season, there's a episode where they're interacting with
The
a
Nox.
no, I was gonna say interacting with a race that's essentially like Genghis Khan technology
Oh,
level,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
okay.
he ends up bartering for someone's freedom by giving him his pistol, but doesn't explain to the guy that the pistol has limited shots. So the guy's like firing it into the air, thinking, "Wow, I have this magic tool that can just shoot bullets endlessly," not knowing that he's got like 8 rounds in his clip and that's
Mhm.
it. Um, so it's interesting how often they use with to, I get sorry, I'm fumbling over words. With species both more and less technologically advanced, our
Yeah.
weapons end up being a bartering tool all the time. I just hadn't thought
Uh,
about that before.
I mean,
Absolutely,
truth is that
and we also encounter, well, the show also goes over the implications of more advanced races. They are very conscientious about supplying advanced technology, specifically weaponry, to less advanced, which would be us in that case. And it's one of those things where um, you get to see both sides of the issue when it comes to that, because when we encounter a less advanced race, um, more often than not, we will be very hesitant to supply any more advanced weaponry than they have.
we have real
Whereas,
world equivalents to that as well. If you remember, I don't know how old you are off the top of your head, Gleeman, but you aware of the Afghan-Russian War in the, I want to say
uh,
it was late 70s, early 80s, I believe early 80s.
I'm somewhat aware of it.
Um, you say that that people are wary about supplying weapons to inferior groups. We'll put it in a polite term. We did the same thing to fight the Russians. The Russians in Afghanistan were in if I believe it was an oil war, and we had funded them with weapons to fight the Russians, which they did win. They had much better guerrilla warfare tactics, and Russia was so far away from home, it was a logistics nightmare. Well, because we funded these lesser groups, and in many ways lesser people, uh, they now had new and superior weapons to what they had had beforehand. They had recoilless rifles, they had Kalashnikovs, as well as some American arms, RPGs, which we basically funded them with old Russian surplus.
Hmm.
That group that we had funded to fight the Russians had a leader by the name of Osama bin Laden. And I think
Right.
we all know how that wound up working out for us. The group
Yes.
we were funding was named Al Qaeda.
Yep.
And that is it sounds like it's me like dogging on people as being lesser and all that, but it is a risk. If you fund people in a aggressive way for aggressive means, and they're simpler and less, we'll say less civilized, there's a good chance that those people will turn that around on you because they do not have that same sort of experience that you do. They don't have that kind of tete-a-tete and, let's be reasonable about this mentality. And you could see this all throughout history.
Well,
So it's
and
fairly reasonable worry.
with Stargate, there was the extra worry of, like, these worlds are not our own. We do not know the politics of these worlds, and us supplying any advanced weaponry to a less advanced race potentially gives them an upper hand
Oh, yeah, power
in
dynamics.
in the politics of their world, uh, to a point where we could shift the entire history of that world. It's the prime directive problem in that case. Um, Now, with the SG team, they are a little less strict on the prime directive than Star Trek
Okay.
is.
Right.
Uh,
Well,
You
their
say
one of their
SG
primary
team.
goals is to go out and find better technology for ourselves. So it'd be a little hypocritical if our
uh,
goal is to find more advanced technology, but we're not allowed to give advanced technology.
When you say SG team, I'm not sure the scale of this. I'm assuming this is small scale. This isn't like a brigade of like several hundred people. This is like a small team of operators, right? This is
In
like
yes.
8
Stargate
people.
SG-1, the SG-1 team that you follow is
Mhm.
made up of 4 people.
Oh, okay, that's a very small operator team.
Yes.
Right? I'm not forgetting anyone, right? There's Jack O'Neill, Carter, Daniel Jackson, and Teal'c.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, even if they switch out members, it doesn't grow any further. Sometimes they might have a fifth as a guest star type
Yeah.
of thing,
Right.
but
A
for the
specialist,
most
quote
part,
unquote.
yeah, for the most part, it's four.
Okay.
But
And so
that's
these are
for SG
essentially,
one,
yeah, there's no set limit to the SG size, but they tend to be somewhere around 4 to 6 per
something like
group.
that.
And the SG teams are primarily their first contact slash like reconnaissance teams into these worlds that no one's ever been to before.
That makes
Um,
much more sense if their like sole purpose is reconnaissance and first contact. Maybe first contact, you might want a bigger team, but also a smaller team can have its benefits. But reconnaissance, definitely. You always, when you're doing any kind of reconnaissance, you want as small a footprint as possible, and you want to leave as little trace possible that you were there. So
Right.
basically, the less of you there are, and the less you carry individually, the better off you're going to be in that department.
yeah,
Yep.
whenever there's some sort of issue where they know there's going to be a gunfight of any sort, um,
Mhm.
they typically call in several SG teams to work together, so you're having much larger
That makes more sense.
fight.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a four-man. It actually works kind of like the tankers do. If I'm getting this right, you have four men to a squad. There are four squads to a platoon, so that's a platoon is about 16 people. And then there are four or more platoons to a company. And then that keeps going at scale to brigade and all the way up to division.
So part of the thing, I don't know if it's been mentioned, the SG program, the Stargate and everything around it is a government secret. Like average
Oh,
people don't
okay.
know that this is happening or that this is so that's part of why it's kept fairly small. You're not sending entire armies through because uh you
Okay. That I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware that this wasn't like an open known thing.
Oh no, basically Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis and SGU, they all operate in the premise that this is going on in the current day when they were airing. So essentially, um, the Stargate program was alive and well um,
Mhm.
in the 2000s, according to SG-1, but that they were operating secretively. So it was like it could literally be happening right now, and we never know. And it was almost like a documentary of sorts that was just playing off of our ignorance of the program.
in fact they
Okay.
even have an episode where someone has information that he's not supposed to. Not going to get into
Mhm.
the specifics of how, like, some sort of alien artifact that is giving him information about the SG, the Stargate program,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh no, wait, I'm getting this mixed up with. I'm getting two different episodes mixed up. Um,
Was
there,
an alien who knew, and then
I'm
there
realizing
was
the alien that knew, he ends up going to Hollywood and
yes,
like starts a TV show. Uh,
wormhole extreme, baby.
yeah, that they called Wormhole Extreme, and so the U.S. government let the Wormhole Extreme TV show happen because it gives probable deniability if someone does start leaking about the Stargate. Then it's like, this is just you're just talking about this TV show, which
There is an
then gives credence to the idea that
yeah.
Stargate, the TV show itself, is allowed to happen, but there actually
A
is a
cover up
Stargate
for
under
the
Cheyenne
Stargate
Mountain.
program.
There was
Exactly.
a there was a guy who was a CIA agent who was wanted and like wanted badly by the Russians and the Chinese. So when he came back from his like overseas work, and I don't know if he was necessarily doing wet work, but he was definitely doing like deep espionage. Of course, the CIA wanted to hide him. So what'd they do? They hid him right in front of fucking everyone. They gave the guy a game show.
Ah,
It's not even a joke. It's like a known fact because afterwards it got declassified and the guy had already passed away and whatnot. So
Hmm.
they could declassify it, but everyone's just like, "You mean that happy idiot that was always like kissing cheeks and calling the ladies pretty? That dude was a CIA spy taking pictures of documents and shit. Get the fuck out of here." But
So as
it's
you can
that
tell,
exact same
Rhino,
mentality.
Stargate is a well-loved franchise. The
You
people
can tell
like
by the way you
Gleeman
guys
and
talk about
myself that really enjoy Stargate, or that enjoy it, we really enjoy it. Like it was a very well done show, um, and I know that they were planning on doing a new show, and then it was canceled. They canceled it, and that's what this video we have here is about. I'm
it. And I'm
I'm wrapping
sure
it back around.
everyone's
I'm
very
bringing us
happy.
back in. We've been talking for like 30 minutes already. I'm not exactly sure. And
Although I have to say that this was a perfect introduction to people who don't know what Stargate is. This is the passion for us fans that we have for the show. That
exactly.
I haven't seen a Stargate episode in a good, I'd say, 2 or 3 years, and I still know all about the show. I am incredibly invested in the characters, in the technology, in the story of it, everything. So when I heard that they were going to finally be bringing about a real series, a successor to um, the three series that came before,
Mhm.
I was actually pretty stoked because I knew that the original creators were part of it. I had my misgivings because it's Amazon, uh, but I was really, really hopeful to get something that adhered to the Stargate canon. And now we
Wish I
can
had your
officially,
optimism, honestly.
yeah, and now we could start this video.
All right.
Everybody that I've talked to in fan world has sort of said, I hope, the creators are involved in some way, that the original people get some, at least first crack at it. And lo and behold, I can't believe that they listened to that. Because usually they
Is he
don't.
wearing a wife beater or a dress?
Whoops.
Huh?
Like, I'm
I
sorry, but right off the bat, was that guy wearing a wife beater or was that a dress?
It was a wife beater.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Politically correct. An A shirt.
is that
I
what
was
they're
just
called? I
curious.
don't even know.
I think that's the nice name for him.
And that was Michael Shanks, one
Yes.
of the actors from the show.
Okay.
He played Dr. Daniel Jackson in the
My
show.
favorite
Not
character.
He didn't play
It
Dr.
wasn't.
Daniel
I wasn't
Jackson
trying to
in the
knock him.
movie. In the
Just the way he looked, I
movie,
was curious.
that character was played by James Spader, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, I love James Spader. That he's a very underrated actor. Just saying something because he's extremely popular. If anything, I want to see him in more stuff.
Absolutely.
It's I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. There's a point I talked to about the Wormhole Extreme. So in Wormhole Extreme, there's a character that's essentially playing Daniel Jackson. And I think it was during the credits of that episode, the actor of it was saying, I'm an actor who's playing an actor in Wormhole Extreme who is a character in the show Stargate SG-1 that is based off of Daniel Jackson, who is an actor who is acted by Michael Shanks, who was doing the Michael Shanks impression or his version of a character from Stargate the movie who was played by James Spader. And it's just
It
like this
was
super meta down the line, like, yeah, it's getting real weird, isn't it?
That's a Deadpool level joke right there.
It was really good. I liked it.
a fourth wall break, but inside a fourth wall break, that's like 16 walls.
That's how math works. All
This
right,
is
all right.
Disparu, by the way.
Yes, this is Disparu, not Disparu or
This
whatever I had said.
was from a great
And
interview that
and
Michael Shanks did with Dial the Gate that was unfortunately prophetic. I mean, yes, well, it did start a little bit weird.
Oh my god.
It was a very fair, honest, and
Love it.
balanced look at Stargate from the announcement right through to where it could go. It's sort of positives and negatives, its strengths and weaknesses.
What's it going to look like in a 8 to 10 episode format? That's the only part that I just don't know how Stargate reacts to that.
He has an excellent point because he's talking about a show that was on in the late 90s, early thousands, where they got 22 episodes a season.
yep,
And
Yeah.
they were pumping those things out weekly.
and they were all freaking bangers.
Yeah, for
Many
the most
shows
part.
weren't so lucky though. To be fair.
Now that's fair, but like, there are like series, like a bunch of them that were freaking bangers, and they were able to do it 22 episodes a season, and it was weekly. Like, you do not see that at all these days.
Something that 22 episodes did for them is it allowed certain plot lines to breathe, right? They'd go and interact with a group of humans on one planet, and then they'd go and do something else for several episodes or an entire season. And then the next season, they'd bring back a plot thread from that planet from the previous season and tie it into something new that's happening now. Like that extra room gave this sense of that there really was a big universe out there with things happening that
Right.
didn't always necessitate or allow for the SG team to just go down one plot line until it was finished, right? They had to have
Yeah.
their kind of split amongst things.
That's good
Yeah.
writing. It's attention to detail, and we don't get that these days, Kevin Smith. You really gotta like appreciate that because you don't see anybody focus like that anymore. And it's one of the reasons shows are like such shit these days. Because they'll take an old IP and they'll say, we're gonna make this ours now. Don't worry, you're gonna love it, wink wink, and then they butcher everything about it, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I assume you have a bone to pick with Kevin Smith. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I
Sounds like a
definitely
big
do
fan.
because yeah, I love He-Man. Just not when he's doing it.
And it's
Thank God I
really
wasn't on
all
X at that time.
it really is like all of the IPs nowadays, and it from what it sounds like with Amazon, this was actually going to buck the trend, and I'll let him
Don't know if I
say
would
it.
believe him though.
Well,
Like,
from what he had said right from the beginning was that
He was
that
surprised.
he was surprised when he heard that they were getting like the original writers and showrunners and actors, like they were getting all these people back that from the original show to
Yeah.
work on the new one.
like that sounds great, but we also have to wonder, 'cause it never went into full production, did it? Like, was this a finished show that they just never aired, or was this like
No.
the idea concept?
They were just in the casting phase.
You know what? Gleeman, count your stars. It never got produced. As these guys, and I'm not blaming these guys, right? These people wanted a good thing. As soon as the corporate people got their teeth into this, it would have been like, that's really cool, but have you considered making it woke and gay? Hmm?
Oh well, that's essentially what was happening. Was apparently they were given a bigger budget because of the
Yes.
response to
Mhm.
the series being made, and by them getting that bigger budget, more executives put eyes on the series
Yep.
and had issues with the series.
And by issues, they meant everything that the fans liked the original for. And then it would have came out and they'd be like, well, we already made it, the money's spent.
I think I
I'll
saw that they said that this isn't going to appeal outside of the Stargate fan base. That was their issue.
They wanted to appeal to a new audience.
An audience that doesn't exist because I'm going to be honest. This may be a hot take, but there is only one show that appeals to that audience that is successful. And I will say this 10 toes down, and that's RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know what it is about that show that people love so much, but that is the only fake and gay show that has any level of success. Everything that they try and do is absolute fucking dog water, except for RuPaul's Drag Race. That show stays booming. But every time they try and I think it's because it's authentic. That's the only thing I can think of. I think it is because it is a real, well-known, famous drag queen doing just a contest that happens to feature other drag queens. It is not actually fake and gay. It might be gay, but it is not fake and gay. And I think that's why it's successful. It sounds crazy, but it is authentic in its nature, even though it is, what we would call woke
As
today.
authentic as drag queens are.
But you get what I'm saying. Like
Right.
they're really about it. Whereas taking this random IP and cramming agendas into it is going to make nobody wants to watch it, because the people who want that sort of thing aren't going to watch it because it's not enough of it. It's not woke enough and it won't pass the purity test. Plus, they were never interested to begin with. And then the old fans
absolutely.
will watch one episode and go, I'm not getting purity tested by this show that I used to support with my whole heart. And they're going to flip them the bird and stop watching. So nobody wins. We've seen this a million times.
I personally think that they have an issue with the idea of a show where the U.S. Military is overwhelmingly the good guys. Not always. SG-1, they were not always the good guys. There absolutely were
These things happen.
bad actors and
Oh,
terrible politicians. Every time that the politicians got involved with the Stargate, it was terrible.
Well, even SG-1 wasn't always depicted in the best light. They did a couple of stuff that was rather reckless and had consequences.
You know what? It's a reality that a lot of people don't like to address about the military. Is we want everyone to be like GI Joe, right? Like real American heroes can do no wrong. They know the right thing to do at all times. When you've got bullets bouncing all around you, there's a lot of fucking shades of gray, let me tell you. It really it really makes you lean into something very different in your judgment.
Oh yeah.
And
Rhino,
very few shows.
You should watch the show.
Sorry. You keep telling me, and the more you talk about it, the more I really want to. I actually do want to give this show a shot because you guys rave about it so well.
And we should go on with the video. We're 42 seconds in.
Apologies.
Perfect.
Kind of short-term story.
This wasn't some sort of marketing PR shill interview where it's just, no, everything's amazing, it's going to be great, there's going to be absolutely no problems, and any of those fans that don't like it, they're just bigots over there. It wasn't one of them. That's why I say unfortunately prophetic, because every time he did go and praise Amazon for doing something.
But also, hats off to Amazon Prime. I don't know if they're out there, but there's some fan that was screaming, yeah, what we want is a whole new vision, so hire J.J. Abrams to...
It turns out it wasn't true, and it was the reason it got cancelled. You know, where Amazon executives were concerned that it wouldn't have broad appeal beyond its already dedicated fan base. In other words, they cancelled it because the fans would have liked it too much.
I'm glad he said that, because that was how I interpreted that, and I thought I had to have been wrong.
Nope. They flat out stated that it was going to be too faithful to the fan base for them to continue it.
Allow me to recontextualize that. The wrong fans would have liked it, is what I'm getting from that.
No, the only fans would have liked it because
And
anyone
to them,
else.
that is the wrong fans.
Uh,
How dare you like thing that you enjoy? I mean, we've seen it so many times at this point, whether it's Stargate now, He-Man, Magic the Gathering. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten into Pokemon yet. It's probably coming soon. Like, it's just leaking into everything.
oh, I'm sure it's in Pokemon and we just don't know. I don't know.
I don't
But
play
No,
the
you're probably
Pokemon games anymore because, to be honest, they're pretty boring. Like I remember really enjoying the games as a kid and always thinking about what this series could be 20 years from now. And, it's more like 30 years from
you
now
got it.
now.
It's
And
called Power World.
exactly, at least Pal World's doing something that's
Yeah.
different with that idea. Anyways,
I
so
I
I
think
wouldn't know what sort of content is actually within the stories of the Pokemon games because I haven't played them in quite some time.
I will say that I think with the most recent games, they are kind of learning from Pal World, I believe, in that the trainers get to fight in the battles just as much as the Pokemon do, which brings a new dynamic to the game, and I quite like that.
That's an interesting
Uh,
take. I mean, I haven't really seen that.
uh,
I have to
that's
look at it, see what
what I
that looks like.
believe has started happening. It's not to the extent of Pal World where you can just pull out a Glock and
Coming soon.
but I think they're getting there to where it's truly like a sort of partnership. I
Mhm.
think it's rather similar to Digimon in that respect. But yeah. Anyway, continuing on.
Everybody that I talked to in the fan world was always saying we got to have the original creators, to at least give them first crack at this. And lo and behold, we find out that they're doing just that. And how often does it happen? They
Darren,
usually go, "Thank
It's a
you,
rarity,
thank
right?
you, thank you, nice kitty."
And how the studio may revisit the IP with another showrunner, possibly someone who doesn't have a history with it and would give it a fresh perspective. Someone who doesn't know.
Someone completely new who doesn't care about the IP and will do something completely different with it.
This reminds
Uh,
me of Kathleen Kennedy, I think that's who was
yes.
bragging about bringing in a writer to work on Star Wars who had never seen a Star Wars movie before, talking about how that makes her a great fit because she doesn't have any context of what Star Wars is.
I wonder
I'm
if
pretty
Kevin
sure it was
Smith
Star
was
Wars.
available.
Yep.
And like it was literally like the line of it will bring a fresh perspective into Star Wars, and it's like,
You know,
oh my.
there could be something to that of like having someone who like has a new and interesting look at it, someone maybe from a younger generation who appreciates it. But that's never what they get. It's never someone who grew up loving it. It's always someone who grew up, heard of it, and thought, now that I have a lot of money, I can make that exactly what I want.
Well, and it's never actually I would disagree that it's now that I have the money, I can do something to this IP that I want. It's always, oh, this is an IP that is very popular. I know nothing of it, but I also have an idea of what I want to do. I'm just going to take this IP and do that with the IP regardless of any context that the IP has.
Can we think of a single example between the three of us here of a time where that has actually worked out and improved something?
Well, not
Like I
from
can think of no,
I don't think from our point of view, but they view it as a genuine improvement. They think, look at
I
this.
can't think of a single time it worked out and the show wasn't canceled.
I have I guess a weird psychological question. I'm curious. Typically, when I hear people doing these sorts of things, like taking the IP away from the original
Mhm.
writers and giving it to someone with a fresh new perspective, I typically think of that as kind of a woke thing to do, right? To use just the colloquial woke term.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Would
get
you
what you're going
guys
for.
agree with that?
It's not necessarily like it's not intrinsically woke to do that, but it's out of the woke playbook.
It
Right.
is,
Like
and I
But
think
then
right.
it doesn't come from the.
that confuses me because the woke playbook also, more than any I've ever seen, utilizes the appeal to authority, right? They're
Yeah,
like, oh, trust the scientists, trust that this person had decided it, believe them, don't
no,
think for
no, but
yourself about it.
that's only
But
when the
wouldn't the
authority
authority
agrees with
on
them.
these subjects be the original writers? Wouldn't it be people that
No,
are very informed about it, not these new voices coming in?
See, but it's only trust the authority as long as the authority agrees with us.
yes, I'll give you the perfect example. Look at like I want to say like Disney XD cartoons. Look at like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, things like that. It always starts with the fans, and then the shipping, and then the writer goes, hey, simmer down. We're not doing that. Like it's cool that you all like it so much. And then, like a herd of banshees screaming into the wind, they turn on them. And then they ruin the thing that they claim to love. While the actual fans who actually enjoyed the show for what it was lose the thing that they gave a fuck about. Like, you are correct. It would be like a genuine appeal to authority if the authority that the person had was relevant to it at all. The person's authority only goes so far as in that they agree with their perspective. It's why uh oh, what's her name? Vizzy Pop, I think it is. The Hell of a Boss girl is doing so well as far as the fan base goes because while her fan base is probably a little on the woke side and a little on the degenerate side, they're generally in alignment as far as like the craziness and the shipping because that kind of leans into the theme of the show. So they're not getting turned on quite as hard. Whereas if they were doing a much more serious like period piece or drama piece, they would have been eaten alive by now by their own fan base. Does
Right.
that make
And
sense? Like, does that follow?
yeah. And the thing is that the woke crowd, uh, they use words only for one objective, to gain power.
Mhm.
So they will use any tactic which gains them that power. They will appeal to authority as long as the authority will get them the power that they need.
The line
If
from the
it
playbook
doesn't,
is there is no truth but power.
yeah. So if the authority is against that power, then they are against the authority, and they will call it fascist or racist or whatever gets them pushes the person that is obstructing them out of power. Then they can
Mhm.
establish their person into power and then claim the right of authority.
Which it's funny because it's an interesting mentality to have because it comes from the communist playbook. And if they succeed, if they truly succeed in getting what they want from start to finish, the people who are pushing this and getting the communist playbook into power are the first ones in line for the firing squads
Yeah,
because they're the revolutionaries.
yeah,
They don't want
but
them after that point. They're
but you're
literally
all
signing their own death warrants.
but you are speaking from a historical standpoint. Do you think that these people actually study history?
That's true. They do tell me true communism hasn't been tried yet. A lot.
Every single time.
Excuse me. History is a very patriarchal. We prefer the term herstory, and we would like
Oh my
to ignore history and just put a focus on women and POCs.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, thank you for giving your thoughts on that. It just seemed like a weird contradiction
No,
in my mind, realizing that
you're
I'm like,
perfectly
hey,
right
this
to
is
notice it.
a woke thing, but it seems to go against something else that I think is typically a woke thing, which is that appeal to
You're
authority.
not crazy at all for noticing that, and it's cool that you picked up on it.
The woke crowd is full of contradictions. But it all makes sense if you realize that they only use language as a means to power.
Cue free Ren reference.
Yes.
Or care about the series.
Yeah, what we want is a whole new vision. So hire J.J. Abrams.
So while Michael is here praising the exact decision that could have led to a good series,
How many other like other creators would know that that's an important thing? They've got skin in the game. Who else would think to do that?
And how they are trusting Martin and Brad and Joe and the rest of the team that's being brought in now to know what is best for the show to truly succeed. They want the show to
Quickly. That's an X301. Oh.
Yes.
Who is this person in the bottom right? This lady in the bottom right.
Diana Botsford? I don't know her.
I mean, most likely, all these people are related to the show somehow, so very likely she could be a producer or like a scriptwriter.
Okay, I'm gonna feel bad about saying this, but do you guys know who the vegan teacher is?
Yes.
Does she
There's a
look?
certain
Are you?
resemblance.
This poor lady. What has she done to you?
It's nothing against her. I'm just saying there's a strong resemblance in
Writer
the
and
facial
producer.
features.
Apologies to my nerds out there. Not X301, X302. I'm sorry. X301 was the failed one.
Yes,
This
the
is the one
X301
that
was the
worked.
failed one that almost got them killed, and shot off into space,
Yes.
returning to Anubis. I think it was Anubis.
No, it was
No,
Apophis. It was Apophis.
Apophis.
Yeah.
Sorry, Apophis.
But
She
yeah,
is
this is
a
the X302.
she is a writer, producer, and as well as a university instructor for writing at Mississippi State.
Interesting.
Oh, it does have the name right there. Okay, my bad.
Yes, it's just very small.
Yeah, and on my full screen version, the like Discord leave full screen button and stuff is covering her name completely down there. So I didn't realize.
Oh, by the way, everyone, this is David Reed. This is the Dial the Gate guy. This is Darren Sumner. He is Gate World, another YouTube channel that is around Stargate.
Okay.
And
Very
that,
cool for them to have gotten this interview.
Qualified individuals.
and that's the Altarian time machine. Ah, that's so cool. I'm just finding all these little Easter eggs in here.
I love
Easter
that you were
eggs.
such a dork about this, Gleeman.
They're I don't know
I'm
if they
happy
count as
you're-
Easter eggs when it's just stuff that they're decorating the back of their sets with. It's like they talk Stargate, so yeah, all the stuff behind them is going to be Stargate themed.
Very true. And I've been thinking, like, this, I'm fairly certain, isn't this the Fountain of Youth?
Fountain of Youth is a Rubik's Cube? What we got going on here?
Do you remember that episode, Teddy?
I'm trying to remember which episode that was.
Where they actually go into, I believe it's Brazil, and um, they
Find the
are
Rubik's Cube of life.
essentially it's an ancient technology that um, essentially was the start of the Gould's sarcophagus technology.
Ah, I don't remember that one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's what this is. And it was basically known as the Fountain of Youth because it was embedded into a temple, and the water from the temple carried the same energy signature, which would give youth to whoever drink it. But yeah, anyway, moving on.
To succeed versus trying to fit this square peg into a round hole.
Amazon want the opposite. They want someone who isn't invested in this franchise at all. In fact, if they actively hate the franchise, it'll probably be better. That'll appeal even less to the fans and even more to the people who hate Stargate. And if you thought that wasn't bad enough, in the same week they cancelled Stargate because the fans were going to like it too much, they decided to do a Gem and the Holograms live-action series.
Oh no.
I have absolutely no idea who Jim and the Holograms are.
Gem and the Holograms was an 80s cartoon from like the very early 80s, around like the same time that like second wave GI Joe and Transformers was getting big. It may have even been, yeah, it was the 80s. It was early 80s. It was Gem and the Holograms. They were basically a band, and it was almost like a Sailor Moon-esque type show where the person was a normal person by day, and then at night they were a like a 80s synth pop rock star, and the villains were very like Jesse and James from Pokemon coded, with like a little bit of like Sailor Moon cartoon villainy. It's very much
So
a
like
product of its time.
Sailor Moon meets Hannah Montana.
Honestly, yeah, that's a great way to describe it.
Oh God.
It's, it's fine for what it is. It's definitely one of those things that's like super dated today, but it's neat to see. It's like watching old GI Joe. It's like, wow, this is cringe, but in a really fun way. This kind of has
Okay.
that energy.
Well, it's getting a live action series now.
And that is super unfortunate because I know that they will not handle this well at all, which is a shame. And it goes to show their incompetence because people have done so many stories that are like that. Hannah Montana being a perfect example. I've never seen Hannah Montana, but I know it's going to be handled better than whatever the fuck they're going to do for this.
Hannah Montana was pretty fun, but also it was fun because it was children involved. This looks like it's
It's not a
a
super adult show. I mean, it was the 80s, so like the definitions and the ratings were a little blurry, like Never Ending
mhm,
Story wouldn't be a kids movie today.
right.
Um there wasn't a ton of adult themes, so it would be fine for like Y7 or something like that, I would think. Now that's this, not whatever de facto nonsense they're going to come up with.
Right.
Why do they want to make everything live action?
Because
I don't
they
understand it.
see live action as being legitimate.
Why does it have to be things that already exist that people like? Honestly, if they wanted to do something, they should just touch up this graphically, remaster the audio a little, just spit it out, call it a day. Call it
Yeah.
Gem 2025. New remaster. People still love this show. This is like one of those it's like one of those sleepers, like one of those hidden gem shows, even though it was fairly
Ah,
popular at the time. People
hidden
would eat it
gem.
up if this got like a tasteful update and remaster.
Yeah. It's just a particular frame of mind that sees live action as legitimate storytelling, whereas cartoons are for children and nothing more, not to be taken seriously.
Which is honestly such
Mm,
a
people-
insult to the source material as well
It is.
as those that enjoy the source material.
Yep.
Watch Ralph Bakshi and tell me that cartoons are just for kids.
I don't know Ralph Bakshi, to be fair.
Fritz the Cat, Fire and Ice. He did a lot of adult oriented stuff. Heavy Traffic was a Bakshi movie that is extremely adult about gangs and drugs in the 70s.
Ah, gotcha.
With even Deadline calling it truly outrageous news. This comes 41 years after the original series debuted, has already tried to be unsuccessfully rebooted, and Gem and the Hologram is joining Prime Video's growing slate of female-driven coming-of-age content. Well, I guess we found what Brett Fetter is finally interested in. If he had anything to do with this, he has got to be a very costly hire for Amazon, and you can imagine how anyone tied to Stargate would have reacted to.
I do have to say, the Daniel Jackson gifts are brilliant.
There's a part of me that would not have been shocked if your name was at the top of it, Gleaming, because I'm almost certain I've seen you use that GIF before.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
And I love that it's Michael Shanks using it. He's using his own GIF.
Oh, it is.
And the thing is, Daniel Jackson has so many expressions in the show. Michael Shanks could basically just own X by using his own GIFs.
Oh, excellent. Put it out as a package, you know? The GIF pack.
I love it.
This news. It really doesn't seem to be the scale of the audience, so much as how well can the people at Amazon comprehend them. And earlier he did tweet out, no matter what happens, come what may, I am so effing proud of this fandom and how you have all come together. Stargate fans really are the best. And I retweeted it with, that there are lessons to learn for the entertainment industry about the difference in interactions between Stargate creators and fandom and Starfleet Academy. You get back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Disparu. You
Assuming you've
just wanna
seen
put a big
Starfleet
love-
Academy.
I have seen enough to know I don't need to see it. I have words in mind for how to describe that kind of content that I cannot say because YouTube is not a free speech platform.
I agree.
Back the energy that
It
you
would
put
be
in.
very offensive.
Same.
Occurring pain all the time.
And this interview is a great example of that because there were some really quite brutally honest comments that were made. It's like, oh, I'm surprised you even went there.
You know, with bigger properties like Lord of the Rings, you know, that things get rolled out with the original visionaries being ignored that don't necessarily turn out so well.
Which makes it look
What an interesting point. Good thing that never happened, and they never put out a Lord of the Rings show. It fell flat on his face and nobody cared about.
Man. Yeah. And season 3's coming out soon, isn't it? Or has
They
it
haven't
season
canceled
3
that
already? No. Because
Anyone listening who hasn't picked up on my sarcasm, Rings of Power is fucking horseshit. It sucks. It's
I
fucking
wanna
dog water.
I want to say that I think season 3 is on its way out, and the reason why they haven't canceled it is they've already paid for 5 seasons.
Ugh.
They've paid for 5 seasons up front.
Of a show no one wants to watch.
Exactly. Like, after season 1, my thought process was if they were smart, what they would do is they would just scrap this first season. I say, okay, we wipe our hands of it. We're starting over. We're going to get 4 clean seasons after this, and we're going to do it right. They didn't do that.
It's basically factory reset the show.
That would have been the smart move. That would have
Honestly,
been absolutely the smart move.
give up on whatever storyline you were trying to do there. Pick a place in fucking Middle Earth that no one's ever heard of, like Brothelsville in this mountain over here that no one can name at this spec. Be like, well, let's go see what's happening in Brothelsville, which is totally fucking irrelevant. Oh, look, there's a tanner. Let's find out about him. Anything to avert the eyes from the shit show that has already came.
According to what I'm
Like Cannibal
reading
Hobbits.
here, season 3 for Rings of Power is estimated to fall somewhere between February and August of 2027. They are
Oh
taking
my
forever to put those out.
Oh my
You
gosh!
said it
Like
was season 3?
That's season
yeah.
3.
I'm looking it up because there's no way. Like, in all honesty, there's no way that this can.
It
Rings of
it might just take a decade or more for the full series to come out.
Their
Which is going to make it
estimated budget
really
for
difficult
season 3.
to make these elf characters that aren't supposed to age at all when they're 15 years older by the end season. The actors are. Like, yeah,
Their estimated budget across all 5 seasons, right? Oh, it says all seasons, but I believe it's 5 seasons total. It's
Yes.
going to be approximately $1 billion before advertising, because they don't include advertising in these kinds of statistics. So we're looking at, and advertising is usually 50% of your budget. So we're looking at about 1.5 billion with a B on a show nobody gives a fuck about.
Yep.
That is amazing.
I'm sorry, I need to issue a correction.
Hmm.
That was what I was reading there was something that was written like 5 months ago. That it was expected to be coming out in 2027.
2027?
Yeah, their official release date is November 11th, 2026 for season 3. So
Okay.
it is season 3 is coming at the end of this year. It's not going to be next year.
It might as well be next year. It's November of this year.
It's
Good
pretty
lord.
right, but it's a lot sooner than August of next year, which is potentially what it could have been, according to the previous source I looked at. So
If they
sorry,
had
Oh,
released
I
it
just
on
want
September
to
11th,
I want to be accurate here. Just had to put that little correction
okay?
out.
If they released that show on September 11th, it would still be the worst thing to happen that day.
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's a shit show. Obviously, I'm kidding. People watching. Obviously, that's a joke in poor taste.
He's being hyperbolic, yes.
A little. A little hyperbolic, let's be frank.
Oh boy.
It'd be the second
Anyway,
worst.
like yes, and good on Michael Shanks for acknowledging how freaking bad the
Do you think
Rings
he's
of
holding
Power
back at
is.
all?
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
do you think that's him
Um
being reserved, or that's just him? He's just a reserved person, and that's his honest opinion. 'Cause I'm not familiar with this guy.
Michael Shanks, he was being very kind at the beginning, but apparently he has sort of been letting loose a lot more ever since he got the news of what happened
Mhm.
to Stargate now, and he's been letting a lot more loose on X.
Excellent, excellent. Loosen that tongue a little bit, like a crow.
Like, to some degree, he
Honestly,
followed that
this is
series, considering he also brought up the budget.
What is Rings of Power? Not that they're going to give $1 billion to do the first season, but
Which, from memory, Amazon actually ended up denying, but that number was going around in the public zeitgeist for quite a while. But to his comments,
the original visionaries being ignored.
it's true, Rings of Power just never bothered to ask Peter Jackson about it at all. The scripts never showed up. They did ask him if he wanted to be involved, but when he said, I can't really answer that until I've seen a script, well, they just kind of ghosted him. Which, if anything, makes it seem more like they were after his name to put on the show, rather than any actual genuine investment or corrective power he might.
Ugh.
the thing about Peter Jackson is that he himself was adamant that they weren't there to tell his stories. They were there to tell the story of the author of Tolkien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy, I think you actually hit the nail on the head for something that I don't see brought up as much as it should. Why do these people, for lack of a better term, who recreate these shows not just do what the fucking script says? Like, it sounds asinine. Lord of the Rings being a prime example. There was a rotoscoped Lord of the Rings in the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
I believe there was a Hobbit animation that was also from around that time, probably early 80s.
Yes.
And then you had Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. That's the three big pieces that I'm familiar with, not counting
Mm-hmm.
what came after. All three of those did fairly well because all they had to do was look at what was written in the book and say, cool, let's do that. You don't have to change
Yep.
anything. You don't have to make any real adjustments unless it's like absolutely necessary for, time or something like that. But
Right.
if you just look at what was written down, do it. Harry Potter. Harry Potter printed fucking money because all they had to do was read the book and then hold it up and say, cool, now do that on the screen. That's all they got to
And
do.
and even then, they got backlash from some fans because they didn't stick strictly to the book. But for the most part, they stuck close enough that the casual
I
fans didn't notice.
I think most of the changes they made were for practical reasons, such as like cutting scenes in time, just to
Hmm.
help things like flow. I'm not positive because I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but I know that thing printed fucking money. I know she had a theme park 5 years later. So, you know what I mean? They were doing
And
something
now,
right.
they have a TV series where Severus Snape is black.
Yep. And you know how much money that's going to print? Either all of
But
it or none of it. We'll see how well they listen to the book.
from what I'm hearing of the backlash that that decision has given them, I think that that show is going to bomb. Absolutely bomb.
I don't think that is going to be the most horrible part. I actually have a worry about a different character in their race being the backlash. I actually think
Well,
Hermione being cast as black, which I do believe was what I had seen was the thing,
well, in
will
both
be what
cases,
all be.
well, in
I think
both
that's the big
cases,
nail.
it's a problem because Hermione and Severus Snape share a fact that one, they're half bloods,
Mhm.
and um, the the derogatory name for a half blood was mudblood. That comes with different connotations when you add
Yeah.
skin color to that.
It's
Uh,
well, hold on. Let's time out. But also let's
mm,
also remember we are not dealing with an American series. We are dealing with a British series. I don't know if those connotations hold the same overseas. You get what I mean?
yeah, maybe, but it
Like I'm
just
I'm certain there's some words here that they don't use over there that would make them scratch their heads.
right. But also, there's the fact that Severus Snape was essentially lynched as a kid by James Potter.
Yes. That's I didn't think of that. That's actually true. Um and we'll see how they handle that. I could see that being handled well by a competent group. It's actually I think the big problem will be Hermione with the house self Dobby Spew. Spew. Remember the house elf liberation front thing from the books? I think
Mm,
there's going to be an interesting take on her as an abolitionist and the
oh,
whole house elf
mm.
slavery thing. I didn't even think about the getting lynched part because to me that's actually like a very minor scene. It shows a lot of animosity. But it happens very quickly and it's almost like a passing thought. Like there was a lot of aggression. They had basically attacked him and then he had fought back.
Right.
The
But
View thing covers multiple books, I believe.
yeah, a lot of people thought to that scene because him being hung from a tree had nothing
Yeah.
to do with the color of his skin. But that's the
Yes.
only thing people are going to take from it if they choose to keep that scene
A
and
certain
him be
type of
black.
people. I actually think they'd be better off if they leaned into it. Not into the racial part, but they don't. I think it'll be worse if they change it than if they just do it and said, we're sticking with the source material. You'll get the usual bad actors saying, oh my goodness, my racisms. But if they
But
like
you're
stick to their guns, I think that it'll blow over because they'll realize that
Ri-
they're not going to make
but
headway.
Rhino, you know that they've made the decision to make Severus Snape black because they are those people.
You see, I don't know that because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, listen,
You
it's
want
one
to
of those
give them
trust
the
but
benefit
verify.
of the doubt?
Hold on. We do have to remember that this is not some woke Hollywood thing from, you know, this is not Kathleen Kennedy on her great new project. This is coming from Rowling, and I do believe that they are having a say in it. And as much as I have
Oh
issues with
well,
J.K. Rowling for different things, this
Rhino. Uh, uh, J.K. Rowling is only based when it comes to the trans community. She is just as woke
that is
as
true.
anybody else when it comes to anything else.
That is true. I just don't. I'm just saying I'm not going to jump and assume it's going to be extreme. I'm going to watch it. I hope I like what I see, and if not, fuck them. You know, like
yeah.
all things, much like the mighty He-Man, I'll give it a shot.
You were going to say something, Teddy?
Just reinforcing what you were saying, Gleeman, that she's not exactly uh, anti woke.
No, she's
Uh,
not, and you are correct.
she ever since she decided she wasn't going to put any evidence of this in the book, but that Dumbledore is gay, and decided to add that after the fact and be like, "Oh yeah, he's totally gay." It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why does it even matter? Why do we need to care? But why do you even need to mention the sexuality of the headmaster of the school? Um, just
After
like,
the series is done.
yeah, after the series is done. Like,
I wonder if
Yeah.
that was had something to do with the follow-up book because there was a follow-up book. I haven't read it.
The
I
Cursed
know my
Child.
sisters have. Yes, that's the one. I
Yeah.
wonder if that is like in reference to that, like because I know she started working on that at some point after it came out.
Well, that one is a sequel. I think it had more to do, or at least there, they leaned into it when it came to the Magical Beasts series, which is a prequel.
Yes, I'm somewhat familiar with.
I forget the actual name of it. I never watched those movies, but it was
Fantastic
some,
Beasts and Where to Find Them.
yeah, Fantastical Beasts and Where to Find
Which,
Them.
to be fair, the movies had almost nothing in common with the books. Like they're written wildly different.
Well, and what I found interesting in them, but was quickly kind of put off because
Mhm.
it it had little to do with the actual magical beasts, apparently. But I thought it was an interesting premise to show like the American side of the wizarding world, and I
Yeah,
kind of wanted, I was like interested to see that, but
uniquely 1940s America.
right. Very much a period piece, but also to see how Americans were as wizards. That would have been interesting. But from what I remember of those movies, like as far as like the word about them, it had very little to do with America.
No, and there was no real noticeable difference other than like some exaggerated accents.
Right.
Have had in the series. History may not repeat, but it rhymes. Although then again, as he's hired Stephen Colbert to write the next Lord of the Rings film, I don't particularly trust Peter Jackson's judgment anymore either.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You know, it's a thing. My dad is a huge Stephen Colbert fan. I remember watching the Colbert Report. I loved it. I have no idea what that man has become, but he is a shadow of his former self and the most unfunny person.
Oh yeah.
If you can't write a joke, what makes you think you're going to write a script?
I would say that it's TDS. That's what happened to
Very much
him.
is. And I wonder if it's entirely him or if it's coming down from producers because it's got to be the same thing with Jimmy Kimmel, right? Like it can't be both of them and all of them at the same time. Like this has to be like a top down thing, and it's like do the
Oh
line or
no.
we cut your check, something like
No, no,
that.
no. No, from what I have gathered, the TDS affects
Mhm.
a lot of people on the left, especially if you're in Hollywood and it's not just like top down. It's like uh, it's the actual people, the celebrities involved. They actually do have that TDS as well.
That's true. Most of them are white left leaning, and not like left leaning moderates like myself and maybe Teddy. Although I think Teddy is quite a bit more conservative than I am. Um, like left leaning moderates, we can look at conservatives and go, "Yeah, I agree with you with all this shit." And we can look at the left and go, "I agree with you with all this shit." But now we look at the left and go, "Oh, you're way over there. I can't cross that far.
Hmm.
It's too much. I guess I'm going to hang out with the red guys." And I feel like it sounds it's a joke,
Well,
but that's kind of what happened. I mean, I people forget I am a Democrat. Like I've voted Democrat my whole life, and if they ever got their shit together, I may again.
see,
I'm only
people
right leaning by comparison.
people seem to think of the politics like a spectrum, like a line, right? There's the left and then
Mhm.
there's the right, and there's a dividing line down the middle. And because of that dividing line, anyone on the left is on a team, and anyone on the right of it's on a team. But I don't think that that's quite right. I think typically people associate with and team up with people that are within a certain distance of them. So people on the center right and the center left are going to be more likely to get along and like team up and like be on a team, so to speak, together than they will be with people on the far right or the far left. Because even though they're on quote unquote the same side, they're really far away. I think the proximity uh, of how far right and left you are ends up mattering um, more than necessarily the side that you're on. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I
It
explained
does.
that very well.
I
Oh,
actually
It,
agree with you quite a
it would
bit.
I
be
would
better with a graphic, but I'm
I would
probably
agree
too
with you
lazy to
too.
put in a graphic.
I would agree with you too, Teddy. I just find it funny because I would consider myself very far right.
You
Not
are you are probably the more conservative out of everyone here.
yes,
Eddie's definitely more conservative than I am, but after talking with you for a while, despite your moderate nature, you are quite right leaning, like shockingly right leaning to some degrees.
very much so, and I am proud of that fact. I am not ashamed of being conservative, both economically and socially.
See, and this is the part that ends up tripping me up a little bit on that. Economically, I'm very conservative. I think culturally, like socially, I'm more conservative. legally, like when I think of putting in laws to enforce certain things, that's where I'm a little, I don't know, I'm far more libertarian, because every time I think of law, all laws ultimately are enforced by force. It is
Yes.
Hmm.
the government has men with guns that they can send after you. So whether that law is a tax on a candy bar or
Hmm.
jaywalking or smoking weed, whatever, those are all things that when you say that there needs to be a law to stop that or to enforce that, what you're saying is, I think we should use the force of men with guns in the government to make these people act the way I want. And
You're
that's
100%
where I
correct.
find it more difficult to be super right leaning on that, because I don't think that I know so much better than others that I should use physical force to make them comply with acting the way that I want them to.
Especially because each scenario would be different. I can't remember who the quote is attributed to, but I
Even
believe it
when
goes
they're
something.
things that I think that they should do. Like I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan of I've I've never smoked weed in my life, but I think it smells terrible, and it would be
yeah.
better if it didn't, if people weren't smoking weed, because then I wouldn't have to deal with the smell. But I don't want to send someone with a gun after you to stop you from doing it.
I can't remember who said the quote, but it's definitely one that sticks with you. There is no law so minor that a police officer wouldn't kill you to enforce it. Basically meaning that like no matter how small the infraction is, how like trivial the law is, at some point someone has been killed enforcing that rule, regardless of how trivial it is. People have been shot jaywalking. It's in the nature of the system to use that level of force and abuse to enforce it. I mean, we've all seen, I think it was a nurse, probably 2 years ago, the dash cam video of the cop. She didn't pull over quick enough for his enjoyment. So he pitted her and rolled her car 7 times. And I believe she had broke both her legs.
Yikes! I have not seen that.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it either. But
That video is rough. And
I'm
the
also
piece of resistance
aware.
was him telling her, "Well, you should have pulled over." And you, I think he said something along the lines of, "If you had pulled over, you wouldn't be in a crushed car, would you?"
See, and that sounds bad, but it's also uh, from my own limited perspective, that is a very small minority of police cases that such abuse happens.
You're 100%
Otherwise,
correct.
and the thing is that we shouldn't base overall policies on such small cases. Um, as tragic as it is, um, a
See,
bigger
I
portion.
disagree because we
I,
do for everything else.
well, let me finish.
Sorry, my apologies, Gleeman.
uh, so the reason why I have that belief is we see a much larger amount of cases where breaking the law and allowing that breaking of the law to happen without force only leads to more breaking of the law and more severe breakings of the law. And we get societies like we're dealing with today, where people openly and in celebration um, praise the murder of certain individuals without fear of repercussion. And they cheer on the eventual murders of other individuals without repercussions.
You're 100% correct. But The thing I will say that a lot of those things have in common is they generally don't happen in gun states. Like, that sort of thing doesn't go over so well in, like Oklahoma. You don't really hear much about these types of instances in Oklahoma because everyone in Oklahoma is packing. Maybe in the inner cities, like the big cities where
Mm-hmm.
they're frown on that kind of thing. But it's a self-correcting issue to a certain point, and YouTube very much frowns on me if I elaborate to why that's a self-correcting issue. But
Right.
it's one of those things
I,
where it's like the heavy hand kind of leads to more problems in the long run, in my opinion. But only if the people are choked out of solving the problems themselves. It's the old an armed society is a polite society mentality,
mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah,
think that
well,
it's a combination.
for that to be true, Congress really needs to learn what shall not be infringed means.
Fucking
And
preach! Oh my god, I hate it. I mean, I adore Congress and our overlords at YouTube who allow us to have free conversations about 2A.
Speaking of 2A and guns, Stargate.
Minecraft. Yes, we were absolutely watching a Stargate video.
yep, sure were.
Oh my
Not really
God.
sure how we followed it all the way to here.
I
I went
I don't know
autistic for a
How
minute. I
either.
we
totally
jumped
forgot who
from
this guy was.
Stargate, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter to somehow to 2A, I don't know.
We do it every time, man. Just go with it.
I find it
Ride the
humorous.
wave.
I've just been looking at Disparu's face this entire time, and I'm like, by the way, Stargate.
Hmm.
Entire
Uh,
thing seems definitely more political than entertainment based, which actually might suit Amazon.
They're a tech company first, not necessarily an
Correct.
entertainment company. So they like a little bit of secrecy on their end.
And yet that is endearing to fans, where you step out of the standards, just always positive PR speak, nothing can go wrong, it's going to be amazing, this is the hype master of the universe. If you're actually honest about the trials and tribulations, if you're willing to criticize things, even within your own company, that everybody knows didn't go well.
Lord of the Rings,
Then actually willing to be honest about that kind of thing is a breath of fresh air, and it inspires confidence and trust. Regardless of how the series may have ended up turning out or not, it still would have encouraged the benefit of the doubt so that people go in and actually give you a chance. Something which in the present day and age, when people have been burnt so often, is remarkably rare. And while I'm sure Hollywood hate that, the audience are justified for having that attitude. And so people in the entertainment industry should bear that in mind when talking to them. So rather than Amazon being
a little bit of secrecy on their end, or love a little bit of secrecy on their end.
if it feels like you're being communicated to as adults, honestly, that it's like, yeah, look, I know everything's not perfect, and when I tell you this, I respect you enough to be honest with you, and that you will offer that respect back to me.
And I cannot stress this enough that I don't know, there are growing pains for any new show. Just the kinks that got to be worked out of some natural hiccups. Some leeway might be granted. I remember the days of Hathor. What is everybody's favorite?
Emancipation?
Come on.
You can
Emancipation. I freaking hate that episode. I will skip it every single time.
I have no context as to why, but I'm going to assume from your reaction it's not a fan favorite.
It is not. It is episode 4 of season 1, and
So very
it,
early.
it was basically the early version of Woke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they dabbled their toes in it, and the resounding no from the fandom.
And the world groaned.
And basically the writers were like, well, that was a dud, moving on. We're not going to try that again.
That didn't happen.
That's the one where Carter was taken
The
and
Mongols.
sold, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's the one I was referencing earlier. It wasn't the strongest. It wasn't the strongest episode, that's for sure. I never know the names. I basically, when I watch the show, I like binge it, so I'm not like looking at the names of any episode. I'm just like more, more, more. Um, so it takes me a while to figure out which one you're talking about by name. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah, it
wondering.
wasn't the strongest episode, but I also think that as far as TV shows go, for that to be like the weakest episode and it to have happened within the first season is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm glad that the writers saw it or saw the response to it and were basically like, okay, we tried that thing. It did not work. We are going to go somewhere else.
I mean, it's nice that you got your weakest episode out right out the gate, so everything else was just uphill from there, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that Michael Shanks brought up Hathor. I didn't remember Hathor being not well received. Um, I thought Hathor with the Hathor episode was perfectly fine. I guess um, it too was very feminist, but I don't think it stepped over the line as far as feminism goes.
Yeah, and I don't know, I feel like it kind of made sense. So
Yeah,
in the Hathor episode, we've told you the Goa'uld are this race of parasites that infest humans and take over, right? Um,
Hmm?
Hathor is a Goa'uld queen, so she is the source of new Goa'uld eggs, larvae, whatever. Um,
Mhm.
so she's taken someone over, and part of her alien magic abilities, basically, I guess. I don't think
the
it's
technology.
technology.
It
I
was
don't think
technology.
the her pheromones that like caused people to essentially become slaves to her. That was that technology, or was that just something that she could do as a Goa'uld queen?
I think that was uh, something to do with her gold queen thing. I was thinking what you were talking about was her ability to change humans to Jaffa
Oh yes, yeah, that's definitely
technology.
technology. Yeah. Um, but so I could see how people might not have liked to have seen all of the male characters that they've grown to love uh, be completely subservient to her as
Mhm.
she, and it very much was there was a certain amount of like woman power in it because it was the women who were not affected by the pheromones of the queen, and so they were able to. It was kind of up to the women on the base to free everyone else and to
Yeah.
defeat
Right.
Hathor.
You
But
know,
I felt like
I
it.
think it's
I felt like
pass. That
it.
makes sense at least.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
made
it
total
made
sense.
sense.
It
It,
wasn't
it
like an over the top like men all suck and we're just the best
Yeah.
because we're women or whatever.
There was
Small.
literally a plot device to explain, okay, yeah, this is why the men can't really fight against it. No one knew it was happening before she had basically taken over the entirety of the base. Um, and by that point, all the men had already succumbed, and that's fair.
Yeah.
it it was completely alien to what we knew, and uh, yeah, everything in that episode kind of made sense. So yeah.
It's
It made
not
sense
Avengers
and kind
Endgame. Let's go, girls moment.
right.
And
It
that's the thing
expanded
is,
upon the lore that was there, but in a way that made sense and didn't contradict anything else.
and also it wasn't very celeb. mm, what's the word I'm looking
Celebratory?
for? celebratory. There we go. It wasn't very celebratory as far as the women going, girls get it done, or anything like that. They were just doing their job. And
Yeah.
like once the men were out of Hathor's control, they joined in and did their job, freed the base, and they got back to work, essentially, and upped their defense measures so it wouldn't happen again. But like everyone continued just doing their job. It wasn't a pause to say, "Oh, women are so great" or anything like that.
So what I'm hearing is Stargate handled woke better than the Avengers.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
You're a better brand of woke.
it just didn't lean in. I honestly don't even think of it as like a woke
I don't,
episode.
I don't think that sounds woke at all, honestly, but it's just funny to call the Avengers woke because that
Yeah.
part, "Let's Go Girls," yeah, that very much.
Oh, in game.
It was awful. It was awful.
That let's not get into that. That will get us into a entirely different tangent. uh,
Directly contrast that with, as I said here, Starfleet Academy. I mean, just look at how actors of that responded to the fans.
They're complaining about Starfleet Academy.
And that show doesn't respect.
That's an excellent bit. That's
Oh.
great.
Why'd they make that man do it? Of all the actors in Starfleet Academy, I was like, hey, I know him and I liked him in Voyager.
Look what they've done to our boy.
Who was
What
that?
if-
Was that
that
the
was-
Doctor?
Yeah, that was the Doctor from Voyager.
Oh man, he's aged. I mean, I knew he's aged. Like time passes and all, but I did not recognize him. I wouldn't have known. I didn't
I
watch
hold up that
Starfleet Academy at all. It's one of those that
I
I
didn't
just.
either.
It's been
knew
30
that it
years, my
wouldn't be-
guy.
I know. I'm just saying I didn't recognize him at all, and I didn't watch Starfleet Academy, so I didn't even know it was someone from Starfleet Academy. Much less did I know that he was cast into Starfleet Academy. Anyways,
Yeah, he was, because technically his character is a hologram. So it would.
Because science.
Hmm?
I said because science. That tracks.
Not to say that. Never mind. I have a whole thought, and I went nerd there for a moment. Let's get back on track.
The franchise at all.
Find it in the course catalog under my full name.
I was like, no way, right? They're not. They're not going to utterly spell it out for the mouth-breathing, drooling moron at the back, are they?
My full name, Isla Dax.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You're Dax.
Oh my god, they carried on. I forgot they carried it. Hey, everybody, did you know that she's Dax? Yeah, that Dax from Deep Space Nine. Oh. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurt. The mental retard hurts. That seemed like a systematic deconstruction of the franchise itself. And so because it wasn't Star Trek.
Just real quick, and it's a small point, but it is a point. That facial makeup looks so awful compared to like the original Star Trek and Next Generation. Like maybe it's just like rose-colored glasses. I don't remember Worf looking that awful.
Oh yeah,
Right?
the Worf and like even I would compare it strictly to Deep Space Nine, like the makeup for the original. Oh, was it the original Dax? Deep Space Nine is a weak spot of mine. Are you familiar with Deep Space Nine, Teddy?
somewhat. I didn't I actually didn't watch all of it. I started, I think, at season 3 or something at the advice of a friend because the first couple of seasons are really hard to get into because they with a lot of like internal politics and stuff. Um, so I started at season 3 and watched from there on, but I never went back and watched it all a second time.
It's just
I
interesting because you looked at that makeup, you can tell you shouldn't be able to tell what the makeup is, and I'm not a makeup artist by
mm-hmm.
any means.
Yeah.
But you can
I-
tell it was hardened latex with
Yep.
a brown paint over it. It looks suspiciously like dyed cocoa butter just smeared over it.
Yep.
But you shouldn't be able to tell that.
It makes the face look rubbery instead of like an actual like structural uh, face,
Yeah.
like the skull
It's very
and the
ridged.
cartilage. Yeah.
They used a hardening agent like vitamin E or something on it afterwards to make like a reusable shell. Which, to be
hmm
honest, that whole set of scenes, even though I'm sure it cost a ton of money, it looked cheap,
Oh yeah. The
which is something
entire
I noticed a
show,
lot about newer shows. They're
Starfleet
expensive, but
Academy
they look
was
cheap.
very cheap.
Now, what did that actor, or what did they say that that character's name was?
Dax.
Well, right, Dax, but what was the full name? She had mentioned
Oh,
that the full name was something.
um,
It is different from Jadzia, right? It's not
yes.
Jed, because that wouldn't make any sense, because I believe
Oh
Jadzia
God, there it is
Dax
again.
died.
Yeah. Dax is the symbiote that lives
Right.
inside, and so this is the newest version of Dax, the newest blending for Dax.
Gotcha.
Mouth breathing,
Nostalgia
drooling.
bait.
Hmm?
Oh, I just said it's nostalgia bait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was its purpose.
Turns into toxicity and all the other stuff that I know. Listen, it's part of the package. People with expectations, demands, even entitlement, and yada yada yada.
It's not like that toxicity comes from nowhere. And the reaction to Stargate should have taught everybody this. Like I say, I was very dubious when this franchise got announced because I've seen what Amazon have done to other IPs that I like. But I'm still willing to give it a shot. I think you have to be, because if you do want entertainment to ever improve, well, entertainment's going to have to keep being made. You're going to have to keep rolling the dice on franchises. And all you can really do is not support what's bad. And give stuff a chance, give feedback in the hope that eventually they'll take it. And relearn how to make good entertainment again. Because like it or lump it, Amazon or not, with the people involved, with all the feedback, with interviews like this, it does seem like this was the best chance Stargate had to actually be good. Get as many original creators and writers involved as you can. If at all possible, bring back some familiar faces. Get that sense of nostalgia going. See, if even if it only burns brightly for a short period of time, we might get something like Picard Season 3, which worse would have been some new content with a good send-off. I do.
And I would agree with that.
It's not wrong.
Yes.
I think if they weren't
And
sure, if they're not sure about like the whole nostalgia bait thing, like will the audience respond warmly to it? Instead of doing like a full series, 2, 3 seasons, do like an hour and a half, a one-off movie, spin-off.
do a freaking pilot episode. Bring back pilot episodes.
Honestly,
Good.
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 I didn't even think of that, Gleeman. You're 100% right.
Oy, like
Bring back what?
pilot episodes. Like
Ah,
the original
yeah.
purpose of a pilot episode was you give just a little bit of money to these story concepts and ideas, and you air this pilot and see what the reaction is, and
Hmm.
you get the feedback from it. What did people like? What did people not like? Is it enough to greenlight it with some changes? Is it enough to cancel it? Or is it enough to greenlight it with no changes whatsoever for a full season? That was what the pilot episode was supposed to be for, and we need to bring that back. no more studios just giving shows these full like full seasons just like shot in the dark, and then saying, oh, the season didn't do well, therefore we're not giving this IP any more shots. You could do a fraction of the cost with a pilot episode and see what people actually want. And
Bring back
then
made for TV movies. I think that's
that
another
too.
thing for established franchises. Just hour and a half long, made for TV movies. You slap it down like one every couple of months, 3 months. You get the content, you get the money, and you keep your brand recognition alive, even if the movie's only so-so.
Yeah, Stargate Arc of Truth and Stargate Continuum. Both of those. I personally like Stargate Continuum better, but yeah.
I still remember Ewoks, Caravan of Hope, Rowback. You know what I mean?
Ewoks Caravan of Hope and Ewoks Battle for Endor.
Yep.
I think you're
I
right about
personally like
pilots.
those.
I think that would be a good idea, and I think if something like Netflix, when you're scrolling through Netflix, it has the different categories. They could have just a pilots category where they just host 20 different pilot episodes from shows that they're
Yeah.
trying out at any time and get
Yeah.
feedback. Though
Here are
they don't
greenlit
actually
concepts.
Netflix doesn't actually like allow people to give real feedback anymore like they used to. There
Yeah.
was a point where people could give star ratings to shows and stuff, and now that's
Yeah, now they
completely
don't
gone.
care. They probably didn't care
Right.
then either. But
I think
It
now
was
it's
helpful as someone who was
thumbs up and
viewing.
double thumbs up.
As someone that was viewing it, it was really helpful to be able to look through and and see, oh, ooh, this show looked like it might be good, but it only got 2 stars. It's only 2 star rating. I think I won't waste my time on that one. I'll check out this
Yep.
other one, you know?
Yep. It kind of went the route of YouTube in
Yeah.
that case.
IGN,
Same with the
everything's a 7.
disabling the dislikes on YouTube. Yeah.
And
Gay.
like with Rotten Tomatoes, like their percentages is all weird because it's simply the percentage of people who give a 3.5 and up.
Yeah. Which is
Like
very skewed.
yes. Yes, it is, because anyone who gives less than that aren't even counted.
Wait, what? They don't count
He,
the ratings of. So if you put a 1 star as a rating, Rotten
It's not
Tomatoes just
counted
doesn't
in the
consider it.
percentage. Yeah, it's not
so
counted in the percentage
I think your
that shows
wording
up.
is making it sound odd. Let's say a movie has an 80%, right?
Hmm.
That means 80% of people said it was a 3 or better.
3.5.
Yes,
Yeah,
a
or
3.5
better.
or better. It's better than a 3. So basically, the 20% of people
Gotcha.
thought it was less than a 3. It's very convoluted and intentionally so. It's so they can hide and fiddle with the math to make certain movies look better than they actually are.
Yeah,
Looking at you,
because
Captain Marvel.
uh, like a lot of people could just give it a 3.5. Like most of the people could just give it a 3.5 and it would look as a 90%.
Yes, because they show it as
Eh,
a percentage and not an individual star system, which also has its problems. I mean, look at IGN; everything's a 7. You know,
right.
but
Well,
at least
and
that way,
that's the thing is everybody like a 3.5 would be a just barely passing grade
Yeah.
and should be like a 70%. But because it only counts 3.5 and higher as the percentage counter,
Right. I see
it's
what you're saying.
It's
So
very skewed.
whether you put a 3.5 or a 5 star doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're essentially saying it's a 5 star movie when you do a 3.5.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. The 3-star system is the objectively superior system. 10 stars, it's overrated. It's time to retire it. Like, if you got 3 options, amazing, okay, and shit, you're going to know exactly what you're looking at when you see that star system.
It just
But
makes me
no
think
one
of
can
that
tell
old
you.
quote. There's lies,
Hmm?
damned lies, and statistics, and I feel like their percent
Yes.
system is a way to turn it into a statistic that they can use.
Yes.
I mean,
Very much
think
so.
about it. Can you tell me objectively the difference between a 6-star and a 7-star? The objective differences between those two ratings
Like for IGN, if it's a 6 star, it's
in
probably better.
general. In general, 6 stars and 7 stars. Where do we draw the line? What's that one defining feature that makes it go from a 6 to a 7?
I
A
don't know.
motherfucker of a question, ain't it?
Well, the thing is, um, the quality of movies has generally been so bad that it's
Yeah,
hard to
that's true.
even give those like smaller like percentage qualities to them. It's either, oh, this is a gem, and then it
Mhm.
just seems much better than it probably would have seemed about a decade ago.
Yeah.
um
When people were still trying.
right. Like that's the thing is, one of the movies that I love to rewatch was considered basically a B movie, if not a C class movie, and it's called Reign of Fire. It's the one with dragons and Christian Bale and
Rain of Fire, right? Where they jumped
yeah,
like out of the planes onto the dragons' backs.
yes,
Excellent movie. Like it's
excellent
schlock, but
movie.
it's excellent schlock.
It is a B tier, if not C tier movie. You watch it nowadays, and it is gold. Like
It
you're
has great
watching a
entertainment
movie,
value.
and
That's the thing.
so
It's not a
like
good movie. It's an entertaining one. It's like Starship Troopers. It's not going to win an award, but you're going to like that you sat down to watch it. You're not going to regret that decision.
right. And honestly, I would say that the acting is superb, especially given that it's Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale,
Yeah.
and Gerard Butler.
I want to say
Um,
Jeremy Irons is in it as well. I haven't seen it in quite
no.
some time, but I feel like that's correct, although I may be mixing it up.
No, I've seen it recently. Jeremy Irons is not in it. What movie could you be mixing it up with? I
Maybe
understand like
Jeremy Irons is in quite a bit
why.
of movies.
Yeah, I immediately understood why you thought Jeremy Irons could be in it. um,
There's a vibe there, and he fits it.
yes, very much so. um, anyway,
But you see, I think that would be a perfect thing for the 3-star system because while it's not an amazing movie, 3 stars, most people are going to watch that and go, "That was pretty good." 2 stars. That's going to
yeah.
be a 2-star movie out of 3.
Well, and that's what I mean is like, given today's climate, if that movie came out today, it would actually
Oh,
be
people
a
would be
3 star.
raving about it.
Yeah.
By comparison,
And just the CGI alone. Oh my gosh, those dragons looked amazing.
you also have another issue too, where the opposite is true, where there are so many bad movies coming out that good movies are assumed to be bad. Like, this is probably going to be a hot take for some people because I know people don't like this movie. Fucking Detective Pikachu was a peak fucking movie. That movie was so good for what it was, and it got slept on so hard.
I liked
Did
it.
it?
I liked Detective Pikachu. I thought it was
I
pretty
like.
good.
I liked it too. I'm not quite. I mean, granted, it didn't do bangers in the box office, but I don't know of anyone who says anything bad about Detective Pikachu.
I think it got surrounded by enough decent to okay movies, right? Enough like high twos that it got suffocated under all the weight, and people didn't really get a chance to experience like how good of a movie that was. 'Cause I vaguely remember seeing the list, and I think there was an Avengers movie out at the time it was out, but I think it came out during the tail end of it. So I mean, it should have gotten more attention than it did, but I think it just got suffocated under the weight of all the mids.
Well, it
And
depends
I
on
think
what
that's another
Avengers
threat to the
movie
tape.
you're talking about, because if we're talking about Infinity War, that was not a mid movie. I'm just saying that right
No,
now.
I'm not
And
saying it was mid. I'm just saying like all the swath of options, it's like an analysis paralysis. Unless
Mhm.
you're directly taking a kid to go see a kid's movie, you're gonna sleep on that movie. You're not gonna realize that
Possibly.
you had the opportunity to see something that good.
That's fair. No, I would like to see how well it did in DVD sales, um, because
I mean, it
like I
probably
bought the
did come up
DVD.
quite well. I'd imagine that it would have sold well because that's something even better. Like you're walking through and it's like, oh yeah, there's that Pikachu movie. Grab that for the
Hmm.
kids.
Yeah, but that was also at the height, well, going to the height of like Netflix and other streaming services. So DVD sales did drop um, due to those. All of that to come back to Stargate, and we can basically come to a close on the topic because we're
It's been a
We've
getting
bit.
talked about
rather late.
everything.
Yep. Yep.
There we go. Final thoughts are that what happened to Stargate is a travesty, um, because of all the shows that had a shot, this seemed like it was going to be the next big thing, as far as doing very well on Prime. Um, to be perfectly honest, it had everything going for it, and uh, it was the Prime execs who came in. Um, one exec in particular being behind things like the Rings of Power and Prime's Watchmen and the Wheel of Time, um, didn't like
Great success.
where the show was going and axed it, which is a shame.
It is a shame. It's sad what
Any final
to
thoughts?
miss out on what could have been. What was that, Rhino?
I said, Teddy, your final thoughts.
I would rather it be canceled than for them to uh, make it into some terrible disaster. I fear that we're going to get the opposite of that. I fear that they're going to give it to someone else, and it's just going to be a insult towards to everything that came before when it comes to Stargate. Um, that
That's
being
actually
said,
kind of a
if
good
they
point we didn't touch on.
what was that?
We didn't. That's a good point we didn't touch on. We never, I don't think, brought up the idea that it could be handed off to someone worse.
Yeah,
That's
um,
fair. It could have been the decision that they just take it from the original creators and give it to someone less qualified.
isn't that what they're planning though? Isn't that what they said? They were looking for a showrunner that didn't have experience in it.
Well, they
bring a
just
fresh.
straight up canceled it.
Okay, so it is actually canceled at this point.
Yeah.
Well, if you want an inexperienced showrunner, Kevin Smith is available.
Well, God, Rhino.
His calendar is always clear. Let me tell you.
Good grief.
So I guess it could have been worse. I'd rather it be canceled than be disrespected.
That's true.
But I am kind of definitely disappointed that we're missing out on what could have been some really good, entertaining television.
Yeah. Same.
And then, Rhino, your final thoughts, and when are you planning on starting to watch SG1?
Well, hold on. I never said whether I decided I would, although you are correct. I'm going to. Um, it's. I have seen 0 clips of this show through this interview, so I still know nothing essentially about it. But hearing you guys rave about it has given me like almost like kind of like Star Wars Revenge of the Sith kind of vibes where it's like, oh, listen, that third Star Wars movie, you might want to go have a look at it. It's kind of a banger, you know? So I think it's going to be that. I think maybe I'll get me and my dorky son together one of these days and we'll sit down, we'll just kind of burn through a few episodes of it, see what we think. Cuz he's a big old nerd like me, you know.
Perfect.
I
I
would
would really like. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Glee.
I would recommend starting with the movie.
Oh, movie first? Is it like a prequel or is it just a good starting point?
It is. The TV show came after the movie. Uh,
Oh, okay. I was unaware of that.
And the TV show is a direct continuation of the movie.
that being said, the
See,
first couple of
that's good to know.
episodes of the TV show do a pretty good job of getting you up to speed, even if you haven't watched the movie.
Okay,
True.
noted.
And well, that does make me question whether you should watch the movie because it's a very different tone. The movie is than the TV show.
I think we will be fine. You know, he's a big boy, and so will I. We'll put on our big boy britches, fire up some popcorn, and watch a movie just to
Oh, I
get a
guess
vibe for it.
yes. One other potential concern is if you're going to be watching with your son. I don't know how old your son is. The the very first episode of the TV show, Children of the Gods,
Yeah.
they made it for HBO, I believe.
Yes.
And then it quickly went away from HBO. So that first episode, and only the first episode, has some female nudity.
Like
It's my favorite kind.
Like
full frontal nudity.
Yeah, full frontal nudity.
You see, I'm a huge fan of female nudity. It's the male nudity that you really lose me on.
I've warned you because, like I said, I don't know how old your son
No,
is, and
that's fine.
that
He's
may not be
16.
appropriate. Though I
What are you
think
gonna do?
plenty of there are plenty of versions with that bit cut out. So depending on where you rent or view it from, you may or may not see that bit.
Right. If you
I'll keep
see
that in
the
mind.
syndicated version, it's going to be censored. But if it's the
Which is probably what
original
we'll end up
version,
finding, more than likely than not.
possibly.
The one thing I will say is I agree with Eddie that the best thing that could happen at this point is this gets buried and forgotten until like all this blows over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like hiding your jewelry from the Nazis. You know what I mean? You just got to pretend
Mhm.
that everything's fine until the Fuhrer falls, and then you go out back and you dig everything up. That's kind of
Yeah.
the position we're at with our IPs.
I
We have to.
think the guy from Gate World, I watched one of his videos in response to this, and he was saying that this is basically taking them back to square one. And um, if the Save Stargate movement doesn't actually save the show from being canceled, we might be seeing even the hint of a revival being years away.
Which would be amazing for Stargate. Like, it sounds like a bad thing, but it is better to wait for something good than to have something awful now that would kill the reputation of the show and then stop it
Oh,
from being good later.
absolutely, 100%.
I think that it really just comes down to one of those things where we have to really, and it sounds negative, but I mean this in the most wholesome way imaginable. We have to gatekeep the things we love. We have to gatekeep the fuck out of them because people will worm their way in and they will go, "Hey, nice thing you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it." And then they will be the something that happens to it, and then it's ruined. They're trying
Right.
to do it with Warhammer. They're trying to do it with Stargate as we speak. The guy going, "Oh, it's not for a modern audience." Um, it seems everything that they're fighting tooth and nail over this Warhammer thing that's supposed to be coming out, trying to be like, yeah, but what about those female Astartes that don't exist? What about them?
Mhm.
Because,
See,
lore doesn't exist for a reason.
it was so much better when being a nerd was something that like was looked down upon by
Oh,
society.
yeah.
I could enjoy my nerddoms, not everyone trying to shove their way in and make it their own thing.
These freaking tourists.
And you can spot them too. Nose ring, flags in bio. Like, that's it. You could sort them right out. But the problem is you just can't do anything about them.
Yeah.
It's modern society, we can't just lock them away like we used to, You can't just slap a dame.
Oh, good grief.
All right, I think we need to wrap this up before Rhino really puts his foot in his mouth.
Never. I would never do such a thing.
All right, did anybody else have
But
any?
seriously, final thought. We do need to gatekeep the things we love because things like this will continue to happen. And I think this is like a taste of what it could be because this could have been immensely worse. And Stargate as a franchise as a whole could have been killed off. Like,
That's very
genuinely.
true. We need to keep the orcs out of the Shire.
Exactly.
Agreed. All right, well, until next time, I'm TeddyGrizz. This is Gleeman and Rhino Rocks, and this has been Present Company Included. Y'all have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.